What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to episode 46 of Hit the Books, the podcast here to give you all the sports talk, sports news, sports gambling, you name it in sports, and we at Hit the Books want to deliver it to you. If you're new to the podcast, be sure to listen to us weekly and follow us on social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Those can be found in the description below, or search us up at hitthebooks.pod or at hitthebooks_pod. This week, we have a full lineup for Yins, just Huff and I this week, but tons of good stuff in the NHL, NBA, MLB, and as we all know and are all super excited for, the NFL just weeks away, and we couldn't be more ready. Again, stay tuned each and every week as we break down each game each and every week. Tons of good stats, trends, picks, and more. Time to introduce the man of the hour, my co-host and dominator in the MLB this week, bringing our MLB card back thanks to Huff and Mackey. My boy, Tyler Huffnagel. Huff, give it to me straight. What's happening, buddy?
What an intro. Where did that come from?
Been working on it for a week.
That's not much coming from me. I mean, it's going to be hard to one-up that, but not much coming from me. Like you said, been doing pretty decent on the MLB card lately, obviously going 1-2 tonight. Cincinnati couldn't get the job done for us in the Field of Dreams game, as that game just wrapped up as the Cubs win that one 4-2. But, yeah, so like you said, no Mackey this week. He will be back with us next week. Lots of NFL news, some NHL going on, a little bit of NBA, some MLB. Gonna dive into all four, so let's get right to it.
Yes, sir, Huff. Let's jump right in. NBA first. Kevin Durant met this past week with the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Tsai. Durant reportedly told Tsai that they need to choose between him or head coach Steve Nash and GM Sean Marks when talking about the future of the team. The Nets owner took to Twitter to say, "Our front office and coaching staff have my support. We will make decisions in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets." Kevin Durant having tons of power there in Brooklyn. What do we think of?
I think it's obviously interesting that I don't really think it's too interesting that I guess it's pretty expected that the owner is going to come out and kind of back his coach and GM instead of a player like Durant that's kind of been known to bounce around like this. But it's looking like I just keep hearing the Celtics are going to be the favorite to land him. It's looking like you said, he's going to get moved this offseason, and there's always the ongoing joke in the NBA offseason when there's not too much going on. Kevin Durant just says something to shake up the news, and obviously this past week a little bit bigger than the past news that we've heard with Durant with the trade talks with the Nets. But I'm hearing on every basically sports media outlet that I'm listening to or watching on TV, they're all saying the Celtics for Durant. He really wants to play with Marcus Smart in Boston. I think he's more saying that so they don't include him in the trade. Obviously, he wants to play with a guy like Tatum, but I think he says a guy like Smart because he knows they have to give up Jaylen Brown. So he's just saying that so they don't give up Brown and Smart. But you think KD's looking a little bit on the return there, but. Yeah, obviously interesting what's going on with KD. Obviously, looking like his future in Brooklyn is going to be pretty short and I guess unsuccessful from the terms of what I guess the standards were when he went there. So, yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I'd still like to see him go to like a Miami, but it seems like he's really interested in Boston for some reason.
Yeah, sad to see a short stay there for Durant, KD, in Brooklyn. And with that, the NBA announced Thursday that they will retire Bill Russell's number 6 across the league. Great man there, Bill Russell. What do you got, Huff?
Yeah, they said any players, I think the only two that actually wear the number 6 right now are LeBron and Porzingis on the Wizards, and they said they'll be grandfathered in. They can wear it for the rest of their careers if they choose to. I don't know about if they were to go to a different team, how that would work, but from here on out, yeah, no one will be wearing the number 6, and I like when they do stuff like this. That's cool. I mean, basically hockey 99. I don't know if there's any in football, but I just feel like obviously you got to be a pretty high standard of an athlete to get your number retired. So Bill Russell gets it. You got to think maybe the next guy is Jordan 23 or Kobe. You know what I mean? Kobe got both numbers retired for the Lakers. Obviously, teams retire jerseys, but when it happens league-wide, I feel like it's something that's, pretty big.
You got to think one of them's next. They got to be, right? If they're going to keep going on this path of.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if the MLB has any. 42, Mariano Rivera.
Right.
Jackie Robinson, it's 42.
Absolutely. Well, with that, why don't we jump into some MLB? We got a good one. Juan Soto hitting his first home run with the Padres on Tuesday night. Padres have been struggling offensively recently, and he snapped their 26-inning scoring drought. Good move for them, and I wonder, I don't know what game number that was for him, to be honest, but one of his early games there, so good for the young boy.
Seeing the early offense coming out of him and Josh Bell, the trade coming over from Washington, immediate impact in the Padres. Obviously, like we said a couple weeks ago in the past week, Padres moved themselves into a series contending position for the World Series. They're probably one of my teams that I'm rooting for them to come out of the NL. I know Mackey's going to obviously stick by his Mets for good reason. But, yeah, I'm hoping we can maybe see a Mets-Padres matchup or Padres-Dodgers. I think that would be really cool. But I'm really excited to see what Soto and when they get Tatis back, what this team is able to do at their full potential.
I'm so excited to see this team. Like, I haven't been excited about a group of players getting together like these Padres, like Bell, like you said, Tatis and Soto. I think they're a great group, and I'm really excited to see them play. Hope they do well in the playoffs, so we'll see what happens.
They got guys like Musgrove, too, pitching. I like Musgrove, a former Pirate as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely rooting for San Diego.
As am I. MLB playoffs coming up here shortly, only a month and change away.
Yes, sir.
Something to look forward to, along with the NFL. Hopefully try to get some coverage on both of those. Alrighty, that's all we got for the MLB this week. That being said, the NHL is up next. Got a few signings. First up, the Calgary Flames signed forward Jonathan Huberdeau to an 8-year, $84 million extension, coming out to $10.5 million a year. What do you think about this signing for the Calgary Flames, Huff?
Is that more than Kachuk got in Florida? Yeah. Kachuk got 9.5. So,
wow.
That's interesting. You gotta wonder if there's a little shot at Kachuk for wanting to leave there. They're like, all right, well, you want to leave? We'll pay the guy we got another $1 million. Fuck you.
Yeah, seriously. Show them they have the power.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, all right, you want to go play in Florida for $9.5 million? We're just gonna pay the guy that we got for you $10.5 million. So fuck you. I don't know. I think Calgary robbed Florida in that trade, so I really don't think Calgary's gonna have too much of a step down in this next season. Obviously, the loss of Gaudreau and Kachuk, but you get a guy like Huberdeau in the lineup. Like, he was a 100-point player last year, so yeah, I think Calgary is still a top team. Not necessarily a top team like they were last year, but they're still up there. They're gonna be they're for sure a playoff team in my opinion. If Markstrom can hold the fuck up, like, I don't know. I hate betting on the Flames because he's so inconsistent, but he's so good in the regular season when they're at home. I keep saying I can't wait for fucking football to bet on, dude. I just need some first goal bets.
Dude, some first goal bets. I'm excited for the NHL to come back here.
Dude.
They're all going to come back at the same time. We're going to get plummeted with stuff. It's just going to be so overwhelming.
First goals in hockey is the best bet. 2-leg first goal parlays. Oh. You can make so much money doing that. Or like when we go to the Penguin games, you got to take a first goal.
Yes, absolutely. That's the most fun.
Penguins are always so favored,
to truly
though.
root for early.
They're always so favored at home.
Right. It's a mess at home. Truly.
Remember the one time we went to the Pens game against Anaheim and we picked Zegras and the Ducks to score first and the Penguins won 1-0?
Yes. Do you remember whenever you put money on Malkin to score first?
Malkin to score first plus 1,200.
Let's go. That was so much fun.
Didn't we win 1-0 that game too?
Yeah, I think so.
That was against the Rangers.
Was it? Yes, because Mackey was supposed to come to that game.
Yeah.
That was a late season game, too. That was good.
Yeah, that was like March.
Yeah.
Who was with us? Cup?
Might have been Cup, Andy, and Dan, because Andy also had money on Malkin. Or had money on someone else and didn't hit or something.
Yeah, no, he didn't have Malkin.
Yeah, I don't think he had Malkin. Poor Andy. Shout out Andy on the pod. All right, let's keep moving forward. The Boston Bruins and forward Patrice Bergeron have agreed to terms on a one-year deal worth $2.5 million for the year. The five-time Selke Trophy winner will return to Boston for a 19th season. Boston securing Patrice Bergeron there for another year. Do you think this is his last year?
I think obviously, yeah. I think the signs are kind of like one last shot at this thing. Obviously, getting Krejci too. Him coming back over from the Czech Republic or wherever he was playing the past year, leaving Boston, not obviously this offseason, but last offseason, not being with the Bruins last year. But yeah, I think they're looking at this kind of like one last shot with the original crew that they've had in Boston with Marchand. Obviously, there was talks about the team maybe moving on and trading Pasternak at points throughout the offseason. I think that trade talk has kind of died down. I think it's expected that he's going to be a Bruin next year at least, and see what happens long term. They have Swayman in net. They have a really nice team up there in Boston. McAvoy and DeBrusk seems to be happy there after requesting the trade early on in last season. So I think Boston is still going to be a team that you're going to want to look out for.
Yeah, you can never put the Bruins down. Always a contender. Always putting up a fight against our Penguins especially. Can never put them down. Next up, we got Max Pacioretty of the Hurricanes, who will have surgery to repair a torn Achilles. He was acquired by the Hurricanes from the Golden Knights on July 13th and will need 6 months of recovery, so we may not see him for a good portion of the season.
Damn.
After this trade.
I didn't
pretty
see
big
this.
loss. Yeah, pretty big loss for the Hurricanes, I think, after picking him up here in this offseason.
I have a futures parlay with the Hurricanes to win the Cup next year as a little sleeper team, but not necessarily a sleeper. I think they're going to be a team that people obviously they're only like plus 1,200, but you put that in a parlay, you get some like crazy odds. But obviously, I did like I think it's like a $10 free bet on MGM or something like. Or no, it's on Barstool. I can't remember when I did it. But, yeah, obviously I have faith in this Hurricanes team getting a guy like Pacioretty. They got Burns. Obviously two older guys, but they have, what's his name in net? I can't think of the goalie. They have Aho. They have a pretty nice team there in Carolina. So I think good things coming from that team. Obviously a guy like Pacioretty, you said 6 months of recovery for this surgery that he's getting, but you get a guy like him back for the playoffs, anything could happen.
These injuries on the offseason coming out, I know we talked about it for both football and hockey, I believe.
I feel like he's always hurt.
I think he's one of those guys that always gets hurt. That's kind of what I was getting at. But, like, you hear all these injuries that come out, and you didn't hear this until, like, very recently. And he's, again, one of those guys that gets hurt more often than not, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it took so long for it to come out and why it wasn't dealt with earlier. Because I didn't read that he got surgery yet. I was told that he was getting surgery. So, like.
Yeah, like, unless this just happened.
Right. And, yeah, and if it happened in the offseason, that's whole nother ball wax. But hard to say. Hopefully we'll find out more. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think, obviously, we'll have to see what happens with that. But 6 months, that's what? We're in August. That's February.
It's a beater.
Yeah, he's looking at least playoffs. Maybe a couple, like last 15 games this season, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully he can jump in and fit into the system. Because he hasn't even played a game with him. He's coming from the Golden Knights.
Yeah, he's
totally different system.
He's a good player though, so.
I agree.
You gotta think he figures it out.
Absolutely.
Veteran in the NHL. He's bounced from now Montreal to Vegas, now going to Carolina. So, I obviously have faith in this team. So this is a bummer for me, but obviously rooting for the Penguins. But threw a little bet with Carolina in there.
There are some pretty dominant teams this year. I'm very excited for the NHL, as we keep saying.
Yeah, I can't wait for the fucking NHL.
I know, bro.
I just need hockey and football season. It's the best time of year.
I know. It really is. And like having the playoff baseball, it's fun to throw that in there.
Yeah.
It's a good time of the year. It's a great time of the year.
The week where there's the World Series, the NHL's on, and then on Sunday and Thursday, Monday, NFL.
Best week of sports.
Yeah. Oh, We're so close.
Let's stick with these injuries, sadly. Goalie Robin Lehner is expected to miss the whole 2022-2023 season due to a recent find that he needs hip surgery.
He's another
Vegas
one.
Golden Knights announced. This is another big one, I think. Vegas Golden Knights relying on him pretty heavily throughout the past few years as, both a primary and a backup. What do you think?
He's another one. Like, he's always hurt. And, I think he's a good player. I think he's a little overrated in my opinion, but I don't know.
But he's perfect for that Vegas team because they're all
they score
average.
6 goals a game. So, and they're such a high-scoring team that they don't really need. He just kind of gets the job done, letting up 2 or 3 a night, and they usually win at home. So they usually end the season with a good record. But I feel like you said, obviously, having him and Fleury, it's looking pretty stupid to have traded Fleury at this point.
Oh, they made the wrong decision.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, as did the Penguins.
Yeah,
everyone's doubting the old guy.
Teams just keep making the wrong move, trading Flower.
It's crazy. He's had a hell of a career, as we said.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch him again this year in Minnesota.
Minnesota re-signing that deal, yeah.
Great for him. He deserves it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's one of the best fucking goalies of the past 20 years easily.
Yeah.
Three-time Cup champ. He was a huge part of both of those back-to-back Cup runs. I don't give a shit what people say Matt Murray did.
Yeah, no question. No question. Hate when people talk shit like that.
But 09, he could have easily been the Conn Smythe winner.
He should have
been. It was Malkin. Malkin went off with all the points.
Yeah, he did go off. He had an insane amount of points.
Those 2 hat tricks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That backhander where he went around the net against Cam Ward when we swept Carolina, that literally is ingrained in my head. That backhand was one of literally the most disgusting goals I've ever seen. You know which one I'm talking about? He comes around the net, turns his back, and just roofs it.
Yes. He's a maniac, bro.
He was so fucking good when he was younger. I mean, he's still sick, but obviously when guys get old, it's just not the same.
Absolutely. And our last point for the NHL, Jacob Trouba has been named the captain of the New York Rangers. He's the 28th player in New York Rangers history to hold the title. He came out and said he was lost for words. I think a pretty good decision on the Rangers' part. Wish Mackey was here to comment, but Huff, what do you think?
I mean, like I said to Mackey, I was a little surprised they didn't go with a guy like Kreider. Obviously, I don't know, Mackey didn't seem like Panarin was really in play for this. I think he's the best player. Maybe Panarin, Kreider. I forget who the other one Mackey said that he was thinking about. Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, but
it'll come to me though.
Fox, even Fox, make Fox a captain.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, especially Trouba being a defenseman.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a bad choice, but I think Rangers fans would be a lot more hype when the young defenseman that already won Norris is the captain.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's just my 2 cents. We'll have to see what Mackey says about that.
Yeah, we will have to ask him here next week. Make sure to bring that back up. As we said, lots of good stuff out of the MLB, NBA, and the NHL. But weeks away is our bread and butter for the fall, the NFL, as we are extremely excited about the NFL, the NHL. Let's move into some NFL signings. First up, the Baltimore Ravens and kicker Justin Tucker have agreed to terms on a 4-year extension worth $24 million with $17.5 million guaranteed. What do you think about this one, Huff? Justin Tucker, not a bad kicker at all. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely one of the best kickers of the past 10, 15 years, however many years he's been in the league. But Boswell getting the new deal with the Steelers and then Tucker not far behind. I don't really remember the money exactly. I think Boswell got 4 years, $20 million or something like that. So Tucker getting a little bit more money, but 2 studs. Tucker, obviously you ask around the league, I think most people are going to say Tucker's the better guy. I think statistically he probably is. And dude's a freak. Both guys are really good, but yeah, good for him. Staying with Baltimore. Baltimore is another team that I think that their value to win the Super Bowl next year. The price that you can get them at is a really good value, and I think it's contingent on Lamar Jackson's season next year. But I think that he could have a really, really good season. And I think Baltimore's a team to look out for.
Yeah, and with Huff saying that, don't forget to join us on week 0, our episode before week 1, where we go over all the future bets we're liking for the 2022-2023 season for the NFL. So make sure you tune into that. Let's jump over to some news. Browns running back Kareem Hunt has informed the team that he is requesting a trade. He said earlier this week.
I think the whole Browns situation right now is just hilarious. So I'm just going to keep shit-talking the Browns until they prove me wrong. So Kareem Hunt, I think he's going to go to Buffalo, play with the Bills, and be an immediate impact with that high-flying offense with Diggs and Allen. Dawson Knox, they're the Super Bowl favorites, and if they could land a guy like Kareem Hunt, their odds are only going to go lower and lower. But I know Kareem Hunt's kind of had like a shaky past couple years with obviously getting in trouble after when he was in Kansas City. That's how he ended up in Cleveland. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes. He's been a very legit running back throughout his career, despite the troubled past, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Having definitely some trouble in his past, but he's kicking ass with the Browns, but requesting a trade, and I think the Bills is a great landing spot for him.
I don't want him to go to the Bills. I want him to go to the NFC and get the fuck out of the AFC. But
I agree.
Yeah, I think he's going to go to the Bills. That's where a lot of people are talking. I think Bills, and what was the other team? It'll come to me.
Next up, we got the Bears linebacker Roquan Smith has requested a trade. Top landing spots for him are Baltimore and Denver. What do we think about this linebacker in the Bears?
Obviously, he's been a stud for the first couple years of his career. The Bears, and obviously kind of just a shit franchise if you ask most NFL fans. I think they would kind of describe it as that, and which is such a shame because playing in Chicago and obviously the history of the Bears franchise being so good throughout the 80s and 90s or even earlier on, but just kind of where the Bears is at right now, I think a lot of these guys, you're seeing them kind of pack up and get ready to request a trade, like in Roquan Smith's I guess you'd say scenario. But the top landing spots, like you said, Baltimore and Denver. I don't know if one is more likely than the other, but obviously out of those two, I'm rooting for Denver, both in the AFC. But I do not want to see this guy in our division, especially on a team like Baltimore.
Yeah, all right. Another person requesting a trade there. We'll keep an eye on that, see where he ends up. Back to the Browns, they're reportedly interested in trading for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo if the Deshaun Watson 6-game suspension increases upon the appeal by the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell. I saw some things they're looking at trying to get him a full year suspension.
Yeah.
Huff, I believe you disagree with that, but
no, I hope he gets the full year.
Well, no, I know. I believe you agree. He thinks he.
I think yeah. Did you see what he came out and said today?
No.
He offered an 8-game suspension and a $5 million fine to not have to miss the whole season.
Oh, wow.
What did I say the other night?
Yeah,
8
literally.
games.
Yeah, no, I was with you. I didn't think he was going to get the full year.
I'm just saying. I literally said I think he's going to get 8 games and a $5 to $10 million fine.
Yeah, jeez. Letting him off.
I mean, he signed for $240 million, fully guaranteed.
That's what I mean. They're letting him off.
The NFL should come right back and say just double it. Be like 10. No, not double the game. They're going to be like 10. No, the NFL wants a full season. They're going to mean them. They're going to be like, all right, we'll do 10 or 12 games and $10 million. That'd be crazy if they did that.
And moving up north, the New York Jets offensive tackle Mekhi Becton is expected to miss the 2022 season after fracturing his kneecap at practice on Monday. These training camp injuries, I feel like we might hear about a few more. What do we think?
Yeah, obviously it sucks to hear. A young dude, he was sick. I forget where he went to school. A high draft pick for the Jets. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but a team with like the Jets, a very young team, getting a coach like Saleh, another year with him in the organization. Zach Wilson, coming off, a decent year, I guess you could say. Not really good, but obviously a lot of people have faith in him after the news that came out with him this offseason. But I think there is a lot of good thing coming out of the Jets. They had a good draft with guys like Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, so it'll be interesting. But like you said, losing a guy like Becton on the offensive line, that's not necessarily a position you want to lose for the entire season. But it happens. Like you said, he's not the first. He also might not be the last. But you still hate to hear that stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He went to Louisville, I believe.
I think he did.
Alrighty, yeah, that injury not so good. And another little weird point here, Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles told reporters that Tom Brady will be away from the team to deal with a personal matter until after Tampa Bay's August 20th preseason game. So Tom Brady's stepping away from training camp, it looks like, in practice until preseason.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this. I don't really think it's anything. Obviously, Brady, not necessarily the guy that you really need around at training camp. He's done it how many times? 22, 23 times. But workhorse like Brady still wants to be there. So, yeah, I don't really think this is too much to look at. But obviously, it's Tom Brady, so it makes news. So I wanted to put it in here.
Yeah, I believe I read it was a family matter of some sort. So hopefully everything's good. But
yeah,
you got to think with someone as popular as him, it'd get out somehow.
Absolutely,
It always does.
It will.
Yeah. So we'll find out more about that. And the home of the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals will no longer be known as Paul Brown Stadium. The venue will now be known as Paycor Stadium. Paycor is a human capital group that has been headquartered in Cincinnati for over 30 years and has served as the team's official HR software provider since 2018. So another name change here. Heinz Field changing over to Acrisure.
And Paycor.
Yeah, two big changes here.
It's so stupid.
Eastern United States-ish. Cincinnati getting a little more central there, but
yeah, that's so stupid.
So dumb. Whatever.
I mean, I don't really care about as much as Cincinnati, but I'm still pissed about Heinz Field.
Yeah, I agree. And moving over to the West Coast, Sean McVay announces in his press conference Tuesday that he did sign an extension with the Rams. Details on that coming. With this deal, he believes it's looking up for the extension for the GM of the Rams, Les Snead. LA can rest easy securing these guys for a few more years. So some more good stuff coming out of LA. The powerhouse is staying put. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously these guys put together a powerhouse team, like you said, for lack of a better word, and that's just about what they are is the defending Super Bowl champions. The defense, they're the defending Super Bowl champions, and they got better. So I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Rams to repeat next year, but it's so hard to repeat in any league, let alone the NFL. So it'd be interesting to see, but they got most of that team back. I think they got the whole team back. Other than Odell, I think Odell is the only question mark. They got guys like Bobby Wagner coming in there. They've only added dudes, so that's what's scary about the Rams offseason is they win the Super Bowl, they got better. So you look was it last year that the Bucs won, and they had all 11 starters return on both sides of the ball, and everyone was like, "This is the first time this has ever happened. This is a huge deal." I don't know if the Rams are returning all 11 starters, but they got better.
They got to be pretty darn close if they didn't.
Yeah. And they had guys like Bobby Wagner, a top 3 middle linebacker in the NFL.
Rams are going to be scary. Yeah, I'm curious to see if a stat like you said that with the Bucs did it last year with the all 11 starters, if they're they got 9 or they got a bunch.
Yeah, but the two dudes that aren't returning starters are Bobby Wagner and you know what I mean, some other stud they brought in.
Yeah, which is fine. They made great
it's an
changes. Upgrade. Big upgrades.
You got to think there's a reason the Bucs didn't repeat, and that's the team that beat them was the Rams.
Yep.
You didn't change anything.
Yeah. Got to change. Get stale.
Yeah. Can always get better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're showing the highlights from this Field of Dreams game. That field does look sick every single time I watch this game. I totally forgot that game was on. I mean, we had to bet on fucking Cincinnati. They couldn't get the job done. Uh, I think the Cubs scored, 3 runs in the first inning, so fuck. But yeah, that field looks sick.
Yeah, I want to go to that game, actually. I wonder, when are they going to announce the game for next year?
I don't know when they announced this one. You know what I mean? Like last year.
Right.
But you
You
got
got
to
to think it's kind of early, but who knows?
Yeah, it's obviously early, but you got to think like obviously this year doing like Cubs and Reds. Last year was White Sox and Yankees. So both Chicago teams are done or got their game. I don't know if it's kind of going to be like a Chicago team's in it every year, or if it's going to be kind of like a Winter Classic thing and they bounce it around. But
I would hope so. I would hope it'd be some more other teams. It'd be fun
I'm
to see some
annoyed.
other
I really wanted the Pirates to
rivalries.
be in this one because that's a divisional game. Like they're both NL Central. Like the Pirates could have been in this game. That would have been sweet.
Awesome.
I mean, no one else wants to see the Pirates, but
Right. Little pivot there into the MLB, but let's transition back to the NFL. Taysom Hill of the Saints is now switching to the tight end position. He said, "Things aren't up to me. I'm willing to do what I need to do to help us win football games. I love playing, and so it creates opportunities for me to add value and be on the field and compete." Some changes in the Saints organization here by him changing position. What do you think, Huff?
yeah, I think obviously he kind of knows where his job's going to be at. If he kind of stayed a quarterback, he was going to be behind Jameis, and the position at tight end in New Orleans kind of wide open. He's going to go and step in there and show he can be a utility player and kind of just get the ball in his hands and let him make a play. But a bigger kind of guy like that, so can take a hit. I think Taysom's a pretty good player. He's not necessarily a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I'm interested to see what he does at the tight end position for sure.
I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to be pretty.
I just love Jameis. Like I don't like the Saints as a team, but I like a lot of their players. And like I like Kamara, I like Taysom Hill, I like Jameis. I don't like Cameron Jordan though. Like I'm not a huge Michael Thomas fan, so like they have some guys I'm not like the biggest fans of.
They're a weird organization, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm just like not huge on them. I just don't like their jerseys. I think it's
that.
cool that they're in New Orleans, like, but
Weird, whack city to play in.
yeah.
Alrighty. And to wrap up our NFL segment this week, as well as the podcast, this past weekend was the last weekend without NFL or college football until February of 2023. So we have officially entered the best portion of the year.
We have made it.
We made it.
It's here. It's here.
It's time.
I mean, it's preseason, but it's here.
It's something.
Yeah. We fucking made it. Now we're already looking ahead to a hockey season. It's like we just get one thing and we're just already looking ahead to the next, but I can't wait for
it's
week
never
one.
ending.
We're under, I think I said 4 weeks till the NFL season.
I think you're right. So exciting.
Can't fucking wait.
Yes, lots of good stuff this episode 46, wrapping up.
A little bit of a shorter episode, but like we said, no Mackie this week. Be sure to tune in for us. Yeah, we're going to be wrapping up season 1 of Hit the Books as we move into September. We're going to, like Jesse said, kind of tease that. We're going to start our next season 2 of Hit the Books with a week 0 before week 1 of the NFL season, kind of like you said. But me, Mackie, Jesse are going to be going over our futures bets that we're liking for the NFL season, whether it's player props, win totals, Super Bowl bets, a matchup, whatever we're thinking. We're kind of going to rip through the whole sports book, whatever we're liking. So definitely going to be an episode you don't want to miss. Might have a guest or two on for that one to go over some futures bets, get a couple different opinions. But yeah, that's going to be the first week of September. We're coming down to the bit of season 1 of Hit the Books. So thanks for listening. Stay with us. We'll be obviously big stuff coming with the NFL season and season 2 of Hit the Books. So thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah, that's all I got.
Good stuff, Huff. Another great week in the books for Hit the Books. That's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you next week.
Peace.
And that's going to do it for us this week on Hit the Books podcast. Thank you for all the support week in and week out. Please be sure to share and check out our various social media platforms and check out our website. All the info is located in our link tree in the description below. And always remember to hit the books.